toss a knife up in your 6 o'clock, throw hands, I won't second them. Way to lose time is getting with.
So here, it's a relatively straightforward punch, clock, throw, hands, I won't second them. Or they've been riders of the dick that tossed a knife up in your 6, clock, throw, hands, I won't second them. Very base way to lose time is getting with fake friends who trying to get leverage. This sequence is pretty straightforward. It's just saying that everyone who is gonna be like, yeah, you keep going, are also just going to be the people who will eventually turn on you and say, oh, hey, you know, you're a piece of shit, all right? Get off of that. Just stop. You're whack. And that's where I get the whole tossed a knife up in your 6, clock, throw, hands, I won't second them. So that's the priming for clocks, as in 6 o'clock, clocked as in punching, but also the literal clock. Throwing hands, the idea of punching people, but throwing hands is in the hands on the clock. I won't second them. That's what clocks read. Way to lose time. That's what clocks are for. And it ties into this second priming scheme here.
Fake friends who trying to get leverage over stockpiles of the bread and fulcrums. Load up trebuchet projectiles with no effort. Come get it.
So the clock scheme links up with the leverage scheme. So for those who don't know how levers work, levers are composed of a fulcrum, so that's what the lever moves along. Your effort is what is pushing the lever, and your load is what the lever is moving. So here, I'm using homophony between fulcrums, as in the fulcrums as in the thing that the lever moves across, but fulcrums as in extra bits of the bread, extra bits of your dough, whatever. Fake friends who trying to get leverage, so that's your lever. Over stockpiles of the bread, your money. Fulcrums as in leftovers of your bread, but fulcrums as in what they move along. Trebuchet projectiles with no effort. Trebuchets were a type of lever that was invented to lob objects at castle walls. So here I'm saying that people will, if they can't get a hold of some sort of valuable resource you have to offer, they'll try and take it. They'll try and take it by force or just by nagging you, as in the leverage, as in the lever, but also as in like they're not gonna do anything to do it, or they're not gonna. How do I say this? Trebuchet projectiles with no effort. Effort as in what's required to move the lever, but also effort as in they're gonna blow you down without any pressure at all.
They acting pretentious, reside in DMs, blow up when chiming up hot arrow, fly in your visions.
So here, for the rest of this verse, I'm gonna be laying out what exactly to look out for, and also what happens if you don't avoid the sorts of people I am detailing. So if they're being super, I'm just saying, if they're being super elitist in an indirect form of communication, like messaging, social media, etc., as a way of getting their points across, you should avoid them at all costs, because chances are they're gonna try and leverage that against you, which is where the homophony of wind chimes and wind chiming up, and then referencing that to hot air flying in your vision, comes into play. Because it's essentially them saying that the only way they're ever gonna get any sort of traction is when they're gonna try and say something inflammatory towards you. Especially if it's personal. Especially if there's some weight behind it. Especially if they claim to have proof, and then when you try to bring your counterproof, it'll only give them more ammunition to go against you.
Stay strapped if they getting spiteful, cause crashing out really might show that the seatbelt is right. Their impact is only likable. Dummy slap hard, your side won't get aired until they find you a nervous wreck, Mac Miller style.
So this segment here, stay strapped if they're spiteful, crashing out really might show that to seatbelts is right. Their impact's likable. Dummy slap hard, your side won't get aired until they find you a nervous wreck, Mac Miller style. Uses priming revolving around car crashes, and the homophony of seatbelts as in get hit with a belt, but seatbelts as in seat belts. So this uses not only that, but also the car crash that Mac Miller suffered when he died. In reference to the idea of you gotta be ready for these sorts of people to come around, because if you lose your temper, they are more, even if you're justified, people are gonna be more likely to side with them than they are to side with you. And when they do, they're gonna remain on their side until you die and they uncover your truth, by which point you won't be around to reap the benefits of. So it's essentially just saying, avoid anyone who acts super elitist, avoid anyone who tries to bring shit to you in your DMs, and do not retaliate under any circumstances. Otherwise, people will not understand. People will not understand. They'll be more likely to take your opposing person's side. And then afterwards, this verse just ends with the ETER motif that was established in the first verse to neatly tie that up.
I'll neglect their chatter and they'll whine and forget ethered. If you trust an eater, I can't trust you either.
And that's all there really is to it. With the way this is gonna go, I'm planning on putting this on a local producers project I'm working with called 12 Apostles. That's the name of the producer. We're working currently on an EP where it's gonna be me rapping over his beats. This is going to be one of them. I have a couple of clips in the works for my thought process behind how I made this, as well as the VOD for recording and mixing this coming later to my Patreon. I hope to see y'all in the future. Feel free to follow me for more. Peace.